So you're doing red,
I don't care if I know their name or not.
So what's the purpose of putting person in red? Or like you want that to, or you just go straight
Because
to
you
put
want to
that
be able
person's
to
name?
remember that person,
Okay.
okay? What's your last name?
Birchland.
Merchland? Okay. I know that's Mrs. Merchland, okay? But I'm not gonna do Mrs. Merchland every time, okay? I'm gonna do something on a symbol to where I can make her a symbol now. And it's not one of my 4 symbols that I have, okay? She's in a hearing with me, okay? The first thing that I see when I look out to me is her hair. It's brown, brown, brown. Now she's brown, brown. I know she's Mrs. Merchant. I already know that. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless you want to stroke out Mrs. Merchland every time, which is not going to be good, because if they say, well, Mrs. Merchland, where are the exhibits? Now you've put it as a question thing because you've put it as Merchland. You want to put it as some kind of symbol. So, with you would be gray, gray, PING for her would be ping, ping, because she has like a pink top. So it's the first thing that pops out at me when I see somebody, okay? Or black, black, because your hair is darker. So black, black, or whatever. But I already know your name. You've come in, you've had 100 hearings with us. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, okay? I have to put a symbol for you to remember that symbol, and you want to make it something simple because you want to be able to remember that every time that you say something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I just don't understand what the difference is then between, maybe I'm just confusing myself
Because
because
you confuse between this, like the speaker, attorney 1, attorney 2, and then.
that, or,
red.
like when you're saying, like for the red, right, and you go and you define global, you do it in your special entries and you're identifying the speakers, what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
For the first time, okay, so when you global it
For the
into your.
first time.
Into your main dictionary,
Okay.
okay, so then we come.
You're only going to have to do that one time. Red, red, you're only going to have to do it one time. Once red, red is already in your dictionary, then it's going to come up person in red. So you're only going to have to do it once. I'm showing you how to get to the step beyond the step.
Okay.
So you have to do the step first.
Okay,
You have to do the step first.
but the first one is just identifying the speaker.
Yeah,
The second one is actually inputting the person's name.
inputting the person's name. So you don't have to do red, red, define red, red, go in and define it again every time. That's why you keep it in your main. That's the whole purpose of putting red, red in your main as person in red. Okay? That's why it's in your main. The Mr. Smith, defining Mr. Smith on person in red is in your job dictionary because Mr. Smith isn't going to come out every time. Mr. Smith's not going to be in every hearing that you take. So you don't want to define red, red as Mr. Smith. You want to define it as Mr. Smith in that job and put it in the job dictionary. So this way, next time you do the next hearing, oh, there's a person in red. Red, red. No big deal. Now it comes up person in red. Now it's Mrs. Merchland. Okay, no big deal. Go in, global it, speaker list, Mrs. Merchland, enter, put it in my job dictionary because I don't want person in red to come up Mrs. Merchland every time now. Put it in my job dictionary, boom. Now it's just in that job. Mrs. Merchland is in that job as red, red now. Does that make sense? Sure?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah? Slick?
It made sense already, but that definitely cleared it.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm spending the time, guys, because this is important stuff. I mean, this is real important stuff. And the way that you define things is the way that it's going to come out. So if you define it wrong, it's going to come out wrong. Okay? And they keep it simple so that it's not hard. I mean, I know that sounds redundant, but they try to keep everything simple. Okay? Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Okay?
F3, inserts the symbol for a question, and F4, an answer. To insert the symbol for a comma,
So if you already know these things, like say you put the answer symbol, okay? You don't have to go through, you can go through the special entries, pick the A or whatever, but they're saying that the easy way to do it is F4. Because F4 is the answer symbol. So like if you're just somewhere and it's like, oh, this is the answer, how would you do it? I just told you the answer. You just push F4. So like you're in the middle of a, do y'all know that one? I mean, guys, that one should be basic. I mean, you should be using that one every day.
F3, F4, yes, F3 is question. F4
Y'all use
is
that?
answer.
Y'all use that? Guys,
Yeah.
that should be, yeah, that should be basic stuff right there. F3, F4. If you don't learn anything else, learn that. Because, I mean, you can be anywhere, I mean, you'll know that, right? You can be anywhere in that sentence right there, and it's like, oh, you know what? That's an answer right there. What's the symbol for answer? What is it?
F4.
F4. You push F4, it turns into an answer. That's it. F3 is the question. Okay? Oh, you know what? That's not an answer. Control J puts it back. Control J joins it. Control J joins wherever you were. So if you messed up, you need to put it back. Control J joins it. So it joins the last sentence or the last paragraph or whatever. Okay? Got it?
press Control comma, likewise Control period. For a quick question mark, press Control slash. Here's all.
That's the easy way to do it right here. It's just control. So if you want to put one of the punctuations, that's all you do. Control whatever. And it automatically puts it in there, and it puts it in there correct, with the brackets, ready to go. Okay? Does that make sense? Are you sure? All right. The easy way to do it. That's a symbol for question. How would you put it in there? It's a blank thing right here. It's blank. What do you want to put it as? A question mark. How would I do it? Control question mark. That's it. And it automatically puts it in there just like that. Okay?
Also Control semicolon and Control colon, which would involve the Shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for a lock space. However, if you have an entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again, and you'll get hyphens. Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces.
See what it does right there?
Didn't we learn something where you just like do it and hit the hyphen?
You do like the shift. Shift F7 will global whatever you want. Then you do the hyphen or you do the whatever. Well, this is easy. This is an easy way of doing it through the global. So if every time you want it to come at the door store and you want it to be hyphenated throughout the whole thing, that's how you do it. Because if not, then you're going to have to do F7 every time through at the door store. So if you want to global it, global, big, throughout the whole thing, that's how you do it. Lock. Lock. Try it. Global again. I mean, lock again. See? Lock again. Now it takes it back. See? And that's how you do it. Do that whole sentence. Escape it. that keeps it all together on one line. So say it's at the end of the line, and you're not gonna have enough to keep it, then it'll move it down to the next line, and it'll keep it all together, like your honor always needs to be together, so that's gonna keep it together.
So, do I need to hit okay when it's there, or okay when it's here, or okay when it's, I already know which one to hit okay on, which is play it.
Which one do you want?
Oh, I have to choose which.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So say you want, I believe it happened hyphenated, then press OK there. So say you want it to stay all together. How would you do it? Right there. And then you would press OK, and then that would keep it all together. So that's like your honor. So we're going to put your, then put your, and then honor over here. See what I'm saying?
Is that okay to leave a big gap of space on the transfer?
Well, it is what it is. I mean, you don't want your honor to be on separate things. You know what I'm saying?
But for other words, is that okay?
Well, I mean, that's the way that it is. Say it's Handy Andy store. It's Handy Andy store, but you don't want Handy Andy in the store here. You want to keep it together. Or say it's, you know, something Jack in the Box. You don't want it Jack in the box when it's all capped. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So you always want those to stay together, okay? So what I was showing them guys was, you know, the whole point of, I'm going to back it up just a little bit.
The lock button. Press the lock.
One of the students was asking what this means. That keeps the words together. So say you have your honor, or say you have Jack in the Box. Well, at the end of the sentence, you don't want it to say Jack in the box. You want it all on one line because it's the name of a restaurant, okay? So you want that all together. That's what's going to keep it all together right there. That's what these little things mean. Keep it together. Okay? And that's the name of the store, At the Door Store. So you don't want that to be At the Door Store, and it's the name of the store. You know what I'm saying?
Like this, okay,
It keeps it all together on the same line. Okay? Now,
Lock button again, and you'll get
this is going to keep it hyphenated. So this is going to show up. The other way, it's not going to show these little things. Okay? It's just going to keep it together. All right? Does that make sense? Okay.
hyphens. Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces. It's a bunch of shortcuts, but it can really save you time.
That was one long lesson. But you know what? I mean, that one was worth it. That one really was. Because we covered a lot of stuff in that thing. Okay, guys, you need to go through it on your own, but this is the symbols for the different things. Q, A, you have that in the special entries too. So if you want to define it as special entry, you can. But what did we say? If you already have the symbol for the question and you global it and you want to define it as Q, how would you do it? F3. F3 is question. Very good. Very good. You almost got all three. You almost got one of these. So F3, F4. Okay. Speaker, you would have to go into the special entry, remember? That's a speaker? Yes? Okay. And that's what it's going to look like when you do it on a speaker paragraph. That's what a speaker paragraph is. Parentheticals, new paragraph, blah, 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 okay? So this is kind of the exercise, and if you want to go through it, you can go through it and kind of do it, and it just kind of tells you, you know, what you want to do. So if you're right here, what do? I'm right here, and I want to global that.
So you're gonna be a speaker, or you're wanting it as a speaker identification?
No, I want it as it's an answer symbol.
Can't you just hit F4?
Hmm?
Can't you just hit
Put your hand right here.
F4? You're gonna global it, and then you're gonna go.
How do you global it?
G,
G?
hit 1.
Huh?
No. Yeah, you can hit 1, right?
You can.
But you're saying for the entire thing, if it's,
Yeah.
you're looking.
You could hit 1. Very good. Or you could do it how? Say none of this is right here. This is the first time you do it. It doesn't know. How would you do it?
Control E or go into special entries? No.
We just talked about it.
Is it F4?
F4.
That's what I said the first time.
What? You said 1. You said push 1, didn't you?
No, I said, can't you just hit F4? You're like,
I think you wanted to global it before you press F4.
Oh.
So just
Yeah. We weren't even here yet when you said push F4. Okay, you want to global it. Because if not, pushing F4 right here, you push F4 and it's just going to do it the one time. Okay? So it's not, it's learning something, but it's really not learning something. You want this in your dictionary because that's a good stroke. So you want to global it into your main dictionary because it's a good stroke. So how do I do it? You.
you can global it,
Global it? How do you global it?
G.
G.
And Rachel said you can hit F4
You can hit F4
or
you can hit 1. Okay? But if this isn't here, you push F4, look what it did. F4, put the answer symbol already in there.
And that changes everything.
And do it in that program. Do it in the program. Do it with me.
Dictionary.
Huh? You want it in your main dictionary, so you press enter, and it does it. So do it in that. Now I want you to do it the other way, like it's not even there. Go all the way up. Okay, right there. It's right there. So how do you do it? G, and none of this is right there. None of that is. So what's the symbol for the answer? F4. And that's how you do it. Enter. You want it in your main because that's a good stroke, and you're going to use it all the time. So just press enter.
That's not gonna really affect my dictionary, right?
No, but even if it does, it's a good stroke.
Okay.
That's how you stroke it. You got it.
I was gonna find where it was with the asterisk. You're the one.
Did you already do it? Yeah, I think you
Sure. Yeah.
did. Yeah, you did. Did you do it already? Is that your answer?
Yeah. Well, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great job. What it is?
That's your answer, symbol?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you gonna go? Yeah. So you're right there. What's an easy way to do it? Yeah. There it is. See? Yours is- So what, it took you down to the end of the page? Do control, shift, M. Yours was on on multi. See what it says there, multi? That means multi. So that means every time you do that stroke, it's gonna take you down to the bottom. So So every time you look for something, every time you global something, it's gonna take you down to the bottom. So it's off. Now do control shift down. See how it's back on? So if ever it's on, you see it? It's on. Take it off. Now. Yeah. All right. So if it ever does that, remember that.
Okay.
Control Shift M. One of the students was working on something in one of her transcripts, not necessarily the exercise itself, and when she went through and global something, it took her down to the bottom. Okay? Because this was on. Multi. So whenever multi is on, it's whatever you do, it's going to take you to the next one that you just did. Okay? And if there's no more, then it's going to take you to the bottom of the transcript every time. So if you're on page 3 and you just global something and it doesn't have anything else, and it's page 3 of 477 pages, it's going to take you down to the bottom every time. And unless you know how to get back to the top, or unless you knew that you were on page 3, you're going to struggle with that thing every time. Control Shift M puts it on, multi. Control Shift M takes it off. So now when you global something right there, now your cursor is going to stay there. Okay? Any questions? Guys, punctuation is the same way, okay? You have to do it in these brackets, okay? So say this is my steno for